When I was 17, I did something that almost everyone around me thought I was crazy. That year, I flew from Beijing to Guzhou, a city in Xinjiang. It's like the small dot. I took buses, trains, and flights across countries. I booked every flight and hostel. I planned every route all by myself. No travel partner, no tour group, just myself. And honestly, I didn't even tell everyone exactly where I was going. I crossed Central Asia, traveled all the way to Egypt and North Africa, and ended my trip in Nepal, volunteered there as a teacher for 2 weeks. People kept asking me, weren't you scared of this? Yes, I was terrified. But what I feared even more is that at 17 years old, I would let fear stop me before I even tried to see the world. And that fear became even bigger in Beijing. At Terminal 3, Beijing International Airport, my backpack was full of self-defense tools that my teacher and my mom had given me. A personal alarm, a whistle, and a bottle of pepper spray that was supposedly strong enough to knock down a cow. When I had the security, the officer took all them out and lined them up on the table. Then he looked at me with an expression that basically said, "Kid, are you going on a war?" Everything was confiscated. As I walked away from the security, I felt I'm like a naked man. By that moment, my real journey began. No protection, no backup plan, nobody, just me. Again, maybe some fear inside in my own head. And very soon, the first test came. I was walking alone in the street in Alexandria, Egypt. It was over 40 degrees Celsius. I didn't speak Arabic. My hostel roommates are all busy with their own lives. No one was really talking to me. And suddenly, that fear started attacking me. Egypt is dangerous. You're too young. You shouldn't go alone. That night, for the first time, I truly felt afraid. But then something happened and changed me. A bank security guard wearing a beret walked toward me. Then, using broken English and hand gestures, he reached his hand to his pocket. I remember that I was almost scared to death. I thought he was looking for a pistol or a dagger. A moment later, he handed me a small bag of chickpeas, just chickpeas. During the entire trip, I was so used to people asking something from me. Money, attention, even half bottle of water. It was the first time that a stranger simply gave me something, expecting nothing in return. It looked like nothing the Egypt I've seen online. Online, Egypt was dangerous, chaotic, and full of scams. But the person standing in front of me was just an ordinary man worrying about a foreign kid that looked tired and hungry. At that moment, I realized something. Maybe the world is not as scary as we imagined. Maybe a lot of the time, what we are truly afraid of is not the world itself. It's our own imagination of it. Now, when I looked back, that small bag of chickpeas protected me more than any pepper spray ever could. But then another question came to my mind. If the world is not that terrifying, why do so many young people, especially people at my age, feel so afraid of it? Before this trip, I was not a brave person either. The first time I took an international flight, I checked my passport even every 10 minutes. I even slept with it hidden inside my underwear. Why? Because I don't want to lose it. During my travels, I slowly noticed something strange about our generation. We are probably the most connected generation in human history. But wherever you're from, with your phones, laptops, TV, it seems like the world outside is always full of insecurities. Wars, crimes, disasters, conflicts. And slowly we started to believe the world is that scary. But why? Probably because the fear spreads faster than kindness. Sometimes before we even visit a place, we have already learned to fear it. Luckily, the world kept proving me that it was wrong. For example, one night in Georgia, I got completely lost on the way back to the hostel. It was dark, my phone had no signal, and there was almost nobody on the street. And suddenly the fear came back. Because before that, I've never truly felt that kind of out of control. In China, maps are always online. Friends are just one phone call away. But that night, I realized some roads can only be walked by yourself. So I immediately turned into a random stranger and tried all my means to figure out my direction. And somehow I made it back. The world outside is not that scary. Of course, not every experience was perfect. I met scammers, chaos. I had moments in real danger. But I'm not trying to say the world is completely safe. It isn't. But what would truly change me was this. Most of the people living in this world are just ordinary people trying to live in their own lives. They eat, they sleep, they meet each other, just like us. And sometimes when they see someone struggling, they would love to offer a hand to help. But we don't see it online because fear is more viral than kindness, as I said earlier. Before my trip ended, I went to Nepal and volunteered there as a teacher for 2 weeks. Since I received so many kindness from strangers during my journey, chickpeas, directions, coffee, or something else, I started wondering, can I also be a part of the kindness? Can I make the world a little less scary for someone else? Maybe just a moment. I didn't do anything extraordinary there. I just taught some English to the children and drew some pictures with the kids. But on my last day, one little girl grabbed my hand and asked, "Will you come back?" And suddenly, I understood something. Maybe traveling is not only about seeing the world, it is also about becoming a warm part of it. Even today, I still get scared. I still book the wrong flights. I still feel nervous in unfamiliar places. But what stops young people from exploring the world is not often our age, our distance, not even language barrier. It is the fear of the world in our own head. People still ask me, "Are you scared?" Of course, I am. But the world allowed me to be afraid. It still allowed me to leave. Thank you.